Hi, Terry here. Welcome to Season 1, Episode 2 of my new YouTube channel, The Fit Fossil. Today's video subject is fitness and food. But first, a little disclaimer. This video is being presented for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to serve as medical advice, nor is it intended to supersede or replace medical advice. I am not a medical doctor. I am not a licensed health professional. I'm not even a certified gym instructor. So basically what I'm saying is don't listen to anything I say or do anything I do. But if you decide to do either one, you and only you are solely responsible for any consequences that may occur. All opinions expressed in this and all of my other videos are simply that, my opinion. And my opinions are based on not formal training, but my background, personal research, and personal experience. Your background, research, and experience may lead you to very different conclusions than mine have led me to, and that's perfectly okay. Also, understand up front that I do not just parrot standard, current, accepted, official position on any particular subject. I think for myself. I draw my own conclusions. I make my own decisions. You're perfectly free to do the same, and you may agree or disagree with me as you wish. Having said all that, fitness and food. So, whenever anybody makes that decision to basically get up their lardo off the couch and go back onto a healthy diet and start moving from unfit back into, or maybe for the first time, into a fit, healthy lifestyle, really, there are three things that we really need to consider. And these three things operate together, none really more important than the other. That's diet, physical fitness, exercise, and you might say mental health or mental fitness or lifestyle, personal attitude, I guess. To me, all three of these are of equal importance. This first video is about diet. I'm starting with that because no matter what else we do, everything comes out of what we stuff into our mouth. Okay, what we stick on our face determines how well everything else we do does or doesn't turn out. It's not possible to get healthy and fit and at the same time eat unhealthy and unfit. Over the past half century, off and on, without realizing I was doing this, I've tried pretty much every diet you can think of. I've done keto, carnivore, vegan, vegetarian, omnivore, raw, paleo, Mesolithic. I mean, you name it, I've done it, okay? I've done the seafood, meaning I see food, I eat it. I've done it all. Mediterranean, been there, done that. Okay, lived on pizza for a year when I was a teenager. I've lived on 3 ramen noodle soups a day for 3 years, I believe it was. Done them all. I've also been involved in farm work, hauling hay, splitting firewood back when I was younger, full contact martial arts in college, marathon running, natural bodybuilding. I've done the bulk up, the trim down. I've done the 4,000 calorie plus a day. I've done the restricted calorie. You name it, I've done it. And out of all of that, what I found works the best for me is a restricted calorie carnivore diet. Actually, you could call it a relaxed carnivore or a strict keto. There's some differences in the two. And yeah, I'm somewhere kind of in between there. But whatever you want to call it, for now, what it means is while I'm in my fat loss stage, getting rid of this excess body fat, eating almost entirely nothing but meat and saturated fat. Almost, not entirely. I'm not fanatic about it. But I would say my diet is maybe 98, 99% meat and saturated fat and 2% maybe everything else. Everything else being a few carbohydrates, but certain foods I have completely abandoned. And I've also almost entirely eliminated all dairy products because they tend to have an inflammatory effect on my joints. I was about 99% convinced when I started on this little adventure that I had some arthritis going on in both shoulders, especially this right one. But I'm beginning to think now that maybe some of that was impingement and maybe some of it is just inflammation from a bad diet, because after eliminating certain foods like all seed and nut oils, soy products, and all dairy products, the pain in this shoulder has completely gone. Full mobility has returned. This shoulder, which when I first started in one of my videos, I'll show you, I could only go about this far. Okay, I can go all the way up now. It still hurts a little, and doing certain things like that motion, I can still feel it in here a little bit. But this, no problem. Full mobility back. And I'd lost some mobility in this one and half the mobility in this shoulder. So, part of that might be from the workout routines that I'm doing, building up synovial fluid, maybe also strengthening up the muscles around the joints. But I'm sure part of it is food also. No cheese, no milk, no yogurt. Yeah, okay. Tablespoon or two of yogurt. Butter, ghee, which I process myself. That's where we're also, and with the ghee, we're just keeping the oil. We're cooking out the milk solids. So we're getting rid of the milk. No buttermilk, no kefir, nothing like that. And it seems to be working. I've not completely eliminated all carbohydrates, but I am keeping them down around 5 grams or less. I haven't actually done a day yet of no carbs, but I have done several 1 gram carbohydrates. I have done several days of that. Usually I'm up around 4 to 5. I have a few days where I've gone up to 7, and there's been a couple days in there where I even went up to around 20, but those are very rare. I mean, like 2 days maybe out of the last 2.5 months, I think. So that's where I'm at right now. So why carnivore / keto? Well, first, let me say that none of this is new. All right, you see these people out here doing these seminars and writing these books about how they were all fat and overweight and depressed, and then they went to the library, started reading, and they discovered a secret to help them lose weight and get fit. Bull, okay? I knew about keto back in 1980. I knew about carnivore back in 1983, 84. We were doing paleo in 1970. We just didn't call it that. Okay? I mean, there's nothing new about any of this. I've done the bulking up diet, the trimming down diet, the energy diet, the whole 9 yards. And what I found through all that is what really works best for me is a low carb diet. As far as losing weight, increasing in energy, building up a positive mood, a positive attitude, that type of diet really works for me. Now, I'm not sure if my body can switch over to processing body fat instead of carbohydrates easier than maybe some other people can because of the marathon running, or maybe I was just better at that because my body could just naturally make that conversion easier. But I don't have a problem at all just throwing carbs out the window and going to just straight fat and protein. I function just fine. I mean, and I know that from personal experience. I have. There are already a ton of other videos out there on YouTube, as well as books running out their ears on the keto diet, a carnivore and keto, what it is, how they work, what ketosis is, right? The whole 9 yards. So I'm not going to bore you with any of that stuff here. But basically what's going on is if your body doesn't get enough carbohydrates to use as fuel, it looks for another fuel source. It has to. It's got to burn something, right? And it does have a readily available source, and that's existing stored body fat. And this can be visceral fat, triglycerides floating around in the blood, cholesterol, which is a great fuel, by the way. Any of this stuff is just floating around in there, not being used. It's already been partially processed, where dietary fat hasn't been processed at all yet. It's just sitting in our gut, in our intestines, waiting to be processed. Well, our bodies are naturally very lazy, and it's going to take the easiest way out that it can. If it needs fuel, it's going to get the quickest, easiest, most available fuel source that it can find, and that's that already partially processed body fat. And so it takes that and then converts whatever it needs into glucose and other free triglycerides and other things that can be used as fuel, and it ignores the dietary fat, and it just passes out. So, the upshot is, if you eat 1,000 calories and you burn 1,500 calories, your body's got to get another 500 calories from somewhere, right? It's got to make up that difference. It's going to take it here. It's going to take it out of the arteries. It's going to take it out of the liver. It's going to take it out of the kidney. It's going to take it out of the blood. That's where it's going to get it first, because that's the easiest. Okay, so I am on a restricted calorie carnivore / keto diet. Okay, so again, what does that mean? All right, well, I'm restricting my caloric intake down to 1,000 calories or less per day. Now, first of all, I have some serious reservations, exceptions to this standard 2,000 calorie a day minimum diet that everyone likes to throw around. I don't believe it personally. I've never eaten 2,000 calories a day. Well, actually, I got pretty close the last 20 years, and I put on almost 40 pounds of extra body fat eating almost 2,000 calories a day, 1,500, 1,800 calories a day, and I got fat. I don't believe in the 2,000 calorie a day diet, at least not for me. And I've got some empirical data to support that coming up. So I'm actually limiting, or trying to limit, my caloric intake on a daily basis down to around 800 calories. And you might think that's like starvation rations, but actually, since the bulk of it is meat and saturated fat, I'm getting plenty of calories from that. I'm getting plenty of energy. Fat provides over twice the calories per gram as carbohydrates do. So I'm getting plenty of food. And of course, if you have a lot of protein and very few carbohydrates, the liver can convert some protein into glucose for the bodily functions that it actually needs glucose for. So it can make glucose out of both protein and out of body fat. There's a process for that. Now, you might be thinking that fat should be just melting off me, right? But it's not. I'm losing on average about 1 pound every 5 days. If you ever see anybody promoting this miracle fat loss diet, lose 60 pounds in 60 days, run. Why? Okay, research has been consistently showing over the past half a century that rats, when they're made obese and then starved down rapidly back to their normal weight, have a 30% higher sudden death rate than the same fat rats, well, different rats, but the same type, that have been made also obese and then slowly lose their weight through slight modifications of diet and a little exercise. 30%. That means the researcher comes in the morning and a rat that was healthy the day before is just dead, and nobody knows why. 30%. Now, I know, with a few exceptions, people aren't rats. But humans and rats, whether we want to admit it or not, do have some physiological traits in common. And think about it. I've seen celebrities, fitness professionals, health influencers, professional athletes, they retire, they get fat, they get these chronic obesity, right? Then they discover these miracle weight loss programs. They lose that 60 pounds in 60 days, and man, they feel great. They write a book, they go on tour giving lectures, and then they die of a heart attack. And how many others are dying from these diets that we don't know about because they aren't celebrities? Small steps, small steps. Modify your diet, do some exercise, get off your butt, move around, about 1 pound or 2 a week, maybe, no more. If you're losing more than that, eat more food, okay, or work out a little bit less. Do it right. Okay, so for me, my personal journey, the plan is to lose another 20 pounds, maybe 25, depends. I'll decide when I get down there, over about the next 4 or 5 months by June. And then when I get into a condition called lean burn, which I've been in before, it's a great place to be. I'm going to go onto a maintenance diet, which is when I will increase my caloric intake through the use of healthy carbohydrates like leafy green vegetables, cabbages, cauliflower, broccoli, foods like that, tomatoes, cucumbers, okay? No fruits or anything. I'll get into that in a minute. None of that stuff though, but bump my carbohydrate intake up so that my caloric intake matches my expenditure. So if I'm burning 1,500 calories a day, if I continue to do that, I'll start eating 1,500 calories a day. Right now I'm eating about between 800 and 1,000, trying to stay below 1,000. But that means, even in the maintenance, when I get there, that some habits that I'm starting now, I'm just going to have to stick with. You know, once I get that weight down, that's not a license to just run out and start stuffing pizza and ice cream in my face. Certain foods are off my list forever from now on. They're just gone. That includes bread, any bread. That includes actually any grains or cereals, all of them across the board. There's no such thing as healthy corn. There's no such thing as healthy wheat. Get rid of it, throw it away. I already have. That also includes sugar, which corn, wheat, and all that stuff, carbohydrates are. All carbohydrates are sugar. There's no distinction. There's no difference. Carbohydrates are composed of sugar, okay? They're just what I call long-chain sugar polymers. That's what a carbohydrate is. That's what wheat is. That's what corn is. I'll get into that in another rant, but don't get me started right here. Don't get me started, okay? All sugar, gone. Simple, by that I mean monosaccharides, simple sugars, even disaccharides, gone, off the board, out the table. There's no such thing as a healthy sweet treat. It does not exist. On that, my approach is, if it tastes sweet, I do not eat. Done. No artificial sweeteners, because you're only feeding a psychological addiction. Okay, don't get me started. That's another rant. That's a rant for another day. No processed foods at all. I'm eating none at all right now. I'm buying everything plain, basic, raw, and I'm cooking it at home. I'm not buying anything that I can pop in a freezer, throw in a microwave later. Nothing. No healthy choice, none of that garbage, okay? It all goes in the trash. Throw it all out. Write it off the board. Write it off your list. That's another little motto you could say. Do not eat, heat and eat. If it's heat and eat, don't eat it. Don't buy it. And you know, really, that makes shopping for food and cooking and eating so much more simplified. It's simplified. I mean, there's a store here not too far from me that sells food wholesale to the public, right? And they run sales. So I can go in and I can buy a 40-pound case each of chicken leg quarters, drumsticks and thighs, cod loins, 40-pound cases of these, chicken breasts. I can buy a whole rack of ribeye, bring them home, throw them in the freezer, and I can get a 10-pound bag of chicken thighs out, thaw them out, air fry them, and then my wife and I can chew on all the chicken we want for 2 days. It's easy. You go to the store, you buy some meat, you go home. You don't have to shop and wonder and make up a list. You don't need any of that crap. You already know what you need. We need chicken, we need some beef, we need some fish. Get it, go home. Maybe some pork. Get it, go home. Done. Okay, so I got my little list out here because I want to make sure I get this right. So here's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm actually eating. So this is a typical day's menu for me. Now, I don't eat the same thing every day, but I just pulled a menu out from like last week, one day's menu out that I'd eaten, and this is what it's composed of. So for breakfast, I had 3 slices of hickory smoked bacon, not maple cured, no sugar cured, hickory smoked, 3 scrambled eggs, 1 raw garlic clove, a fiber supplement, vitamins, which includes B12, B complex, fish oil, C, it's potassium, and some other magnesium and other stuff. Okay, 300 calories total, 0 carbohydrates. Lunch, I had 3 boiled eggs, 140 calories, 210 calories. One of these days I'll learn to do math. 3 boiled eggs, 210 calories, no carbs. Dinner, 1 cod loin, which I fried in some ghee with a little garlic and lemon, put a little fresh dill on it. Oh, a little mayonnaise. Oh man, that was delicious. 3 slices of sallow. Now, sallow is just a Russian version of lardo, which is just an Italian version of sallow. It's basically just salted, seasoned pork fat. And so for that, what I'll do is I'll just buy a couple smoked hog jowls, and I've got a deli slicer, so I just slice it up like really thin. It's mostly just hard pork fat. It's like, you could call it pork ice cream. I mean, it's just delicious. It's got a little meat in it, but not much. Okay, 250 calories, no carbohydrates. Now, what I snacked on through the day between meals, I had 1 large strawberry, 3 almonds, not 3 handfuls, 3 almonds, 2 tablespoons of Bulgarian yogurt, and 1 thin slice of Hunter's sausage. Now, if you've never had Hunter's sausage, it's a dry sausage with a lot of fat, a lot of calories, a lot of energy. Something you can take out with you in the field when you're hunting, eat a couple of bites when you're hungry, and you're good to go for a couple hours. That's why it's called Hunter's sausage. 118 calories. And to drink, ice water with a dash of red wine vinegar, no sweetener. Now that's all day. And I just carried this big old beer stein of ice water with red wine vinegar around and just sipped on that all day. So my total, 948 calories for the day, under 1,000. I know I try to stay down around 800, but still under 1,000, 4 grams of carbohydrates all day. Now, technically that's not carnivore because I ate a couple almonds, I ate a strawberry. Technically that's keto, but that's a really strict keto. Balance all of that, that 948, 4 grams carbohydrates, 948 calories, balance that against a baseline of 1,000 calories a day needed just to stay alive. Stay with me on this. I know what the standard is, but bear with me. If we balance that against the baseline of 1,000 calories, now we add to that 300 calories I burned from walking 3 miles plus a day, and another 200 from weight training and cardio, for a total of 1,500 calories burned, and I'm getting a grand total here of minus 500 calories. Right at just about 500 calories for the day, which is what I typically end the day up on. That's 500 in the red. Okay, so let's say that my average daily is 500 calories in the red, which it is. Now, 1 pound of body fat equals 3,500 calories. So if my base rate is 1,000 calories a day, then I should be losing on average about 1 pound every 5 days, right? Which is what I'm losing. In fact, this week I actually did finish the week out losing 1 pound. So there it is, my current restricted carnivore / keto weight loss diet. I have another 20 pounds to go. Then I go on my maintenance diet, and then of course, life goes on. And of course, I do cheat occasionally. Like here, I'm using my little cheat sheet here. I do cheat occasionally, right? The point is, and even when I'm on my maintenance diet, not right now while I'm losing the weight, but when I'm on my maintenance diet, yeah, work on pizza day, somebody brings in some free pizza, I'm going to eat a couple slices. Come on, dude, it's free pizza. Duh. Just keep it in mind that that is a special occasion, all right? Thanksgiving, I'm going to pig out probably. It's Thanksgiving, come on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but on a daily basis. So anyway, that's it for this little video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please click the like, subscribe, and share buttons. Don't cost you nothing, and it helps me out a lot. And, if you didn't like it, well, go watch something else.